Hello. This is Irene with Soga Talks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. I'm incredibly privileged today. I usually speak with fascinating people in tech, okay? So please follow Soga Talks on LinkedIn. We're on X. We're on YouTube. There are a bunch of ways to engage with us, bunch of ways to learn, and bunch of ways to partner with us because we're absolutely happy to welcome today Chris Detzel. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. How about you, Irene?
Oh, I'm doing fabulously well. You know why? Because speaking with smart people, that makes my life, just incredibly
That's
fascinating.
great.
So, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for your time today. And I know you're an expert in a lot of things, including, of course, building, forming, managing B2B communities.
Yep.
Okay. And we know that AI and all the advanced tools now affecting all of us. Okay. Wherever we are, whatever we do, right?
Yep.
So I'm really, really, grateful for your time. If you can shed some light, okay, to us, what makes your day, in the role you're in, okay, and how maybe AI is helping or hurting you. I don't know. It's your stage. Yeah.
Look, I think that before we dive into that, let's think about AI is going to change the world. I mean, that's just the reality is in how we work and what we do day to day, and so certainly from my work in building B2B communities, AI has already sort of changed that. When you think about creating content, when you think about creating quick hit videos or videos in general, you have companies like the script or even this kind of stuff, like before it would take me like, you know, 2 days to edit a video and to get 5 quick hits. Now I can, tell the system to say, or the script to kind of take out all the ums and filler words, and it does it within 2 minutes, and then it creates me 5 quick hit videos from the video that we just took. So when we look at creating content for online B2B communities, whether it's blogs, I could take a transcript that we did today, and then push it into like a Claude 3.5 or Chat GPT, and then get a blog within minutes or seconds, really, and then have the expert, hey, clean this up, clean it up, and then it's given me really good blog material. So a blog that would take me an hour or actually days to write, or send it to a blog writer to take them a week to do. AI has changed that in a lot of ways. So I think that all of us are experiencing that, and a lot of us are like, well, do you think AI is going to change communities? Yes. Do I think it's going to change the human touch? No. Google today is looking at prioritizing content that is created by users. So user generated content will be prioritized rather than just kind of this, blog content from AI and things like that. Not to say it won't be, but the stuff that users are saying on communities and people, things that we're writing today will be prioritized, and that's key, because that's just to say humans are not going to be taken over by AI, but our jobs will change and we'll have to adjust to that. And I think that's an important piece. It's kind of like social. Think about it. Back in the day when MySpace and Facebook all came out, it was all the rage, and now it's just our daily lives. We use LinkedIn and all these other things just on a consistent daily basis. We don't think, oh my gosh, are you using social? Yeah, of course you're using social. Same thing that's going to happen to AI. It's going to be, of course, AI is embedded into the products. Of course, we're using AI to write things or do things to make our jobs easier, because that's just the thing. And that's the way AI is going to be. I think it changes the world, just like the internet did, just like social did in big ways. But we'll just have to work differently.
Now, I won't take a chance because you are a B2B community expert, okay? I don't talk to community, I don't know, professionals very often. So, yeah, I want to use this chance, just kind of, educate us on some basics. Because to me, digital ecosystem is something
Yeah,
that formed around, like, I don't know, Apple, right? All the infrastructure, all the devices, right? All the software, all the partners, right? The entire ecosystem, right? Community, on the other hand, I even ran these differences just to understand, right?
yeah,
Community, it's all people based, okay? It's all this
that's right.
relationship, right? And networking that also driving innovation and technology, right? So can you tell us what kind of role
Yep.
community is playing in business today?
Yeah, let's think about that. So the B2B communities that I've built from ground up and scaled and things like that, a lot of times the goal of a community, there's a lot of different goals, but one, specific business outcome would be like support deflection. So let's say you have, in a big company, customers that are using your product on a consistent daily basis. There's always complexities of those products. So instead of, going to support or, things like that, maybe you post a question in the forums, online forums. And then, what happens is you find an expert to answer that question and things like that. And so that really helps with that kind of thinking. But whenever you think of kind of, like you said, the whole entire ecosystem, I think of, you have support, you have communities, you have, university or training, you have a knowledge base, and think about unifying those kind of things together, whether it's within enterprise search, or whether it's, single sign-on and things like that, to allow the customer experience or your customers to experience just a one-stop shop to where they can get answers on the community or your documentation, knowledge center, your support systems, things like that, to allow those things, so that you're starting to really see kind of this customer experience within product companies start kind of unifying those areas, because we're all trying to save we're all trying to solve some of the same problems, whether it's upsell, cross sell, whether it's getting answers to our customers quickly, whether it's renewing at higher rates or less churn, and all of those things. So that's really what, when you think of the whole entire ecosystem, community fits into that ecosystem, but it's one channel, but it's a big channel because it can help in a lot of different ways. Then, you can look at marketing that are looking for case studies, where our customers on community can do case studies because they're our customers, right? They can do references, they can speak at events, they can do all of these things. And then there's a pool of people you can pull to, hey, we're going to, Dreamforce this year. Who's going? And you pull them together and you go do dinners and things like that. And so the community is a big opportunity for you to accomplish a lot of different things. And so, that's not an AI conversation, but AI can be embedded in those to answer questions. But when you think of what a B2B community can do, it can touch almost every aspect of your organization to really help in a lot of ways.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm sure in your experience, you have tons of examples how leveraging AI boosting
Yeah.
those digital interactions, right? And making communities stronger. So anything you can share with us today?
Yeah, I think that, the bigger a couple things. One is, think about, like everybody else is doing, kind of a chat bot. So for example, you feed that large language model just content around, your documentation from a product company. I'm just making this a product company. It could be other companies, but only data around your product company. It could be documentation. It could be from Knowledge Center. It could be from community engagement. So questions, answers, you're just feeding that. And that's the only thing that it learns. I'm not saying that it, doesn't go off a little bit, so you fine tune it always, but pushing that out. And, customers want questions that they have answered quickly. And so the beauty about adding a chatbot to that, they will get those answers pretty quickly, especially for more of those simple problems. So that's one. Two is, when you think about the things that I just said about unifying your digital kind of landscape of self-help, so communities, documentation, support, knowledge center, the training, and those kinds of things. These same customers are interacting with all of these digital systems, right? So think about, AI and getting kind of this, what do you call it, view of the customer that says, okay, these customers are potentially going to churn. And so getting that data quickly from AI would be really great. There's this company called Grazidi that is embedding some of that, not just in communities, but into these self-help systems, to where, these that you're getting more data around, if customers can renew, or if they're going to churn, or if they're going to, the potential upsell, cross sell, and those kinds of things. So those are the two things that I'm seeing now within these communities, but also in kind of that whole entire digital landscape. So chatbots, of course, but then, kind of the insights that are really going to help you understand your customer better, and how and some buying signals and things like that.
Beautiful, beautiful. I cannot not ask question about challenges, because
Yeah.
the vibe I get, all right, is that, so many tools now available. Okay, it looks
Yeah.
like we can do anything and everything, right? And yet strategies and decisions, okay, where to invest, where to put your people, where to put your budget, right,
Yep.
within the organization while choosing those wonderful tools. Okay.
Yeah, there's always challenges. One is, even if you're not talking about AI, but unification of these portals and systems, these digital ways of people engaging that's a big challenge, right? Because all these places, all these things sit in different departments. So one might sit in the support organization, one might sit in the training organization, one might sit in the marketing organization. So I mean, trying to do that and get buy-in at that top level is always a challenge. And so then you start adding AI to it. Everybody, that's the sexy thing today is how can we do AI? I don't disagree because I think that we should have kind of that mindset of how do we embed AI first. I think with some of these large language models, the opportunity here is specifically around when you're feeding it data and things like that. And when people start using it, it starts to hallucinate still. I mean, you can fine tune them, but you have to have somebody like an ML expert that can really understand how to fine tune it and know exactly what to do. And so the challenge of hiring people, the right people to do some of those things is really difficult. And then then you've got to find the money to actually embed it directly into your digital system, whether it's communities or any other digital system. So I think that working with teams, finding the money to do it, and finding the right talent are always going to be the biggest challenge. The beauty is that from an AI standpoint, if it solves a big business problem, I think you'll have a lot more luck getting that buy-in and getting budget to do it than you would something else today because AI is hot. Every single product company is talking about it, and there's going to be a lot of failures. Think about it, like all these product companies coming out with these cool things, but not everybody's going to succeed. And so you've got to kind of be mindful of that as a person, looking at these products and bringing them into your business. Was it going to be around in a year, 5 years, 3 years? Who knows? I mean, and so you got to also make some of those safe bets too, as kind of a decision maker around the products that the teams use.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought this really to my next logical question here. Okay. How do
Yeah.
you prove the value of AI, all these tools in your business? Meaning that, I know for communities, right? Engagement
Yep.
is everything, right? It's
Yep.
not even, right? Lots of other metrics. It's real engagement, right? So how AI and tools can help to drive that engagement, really helping, because this is what everyone is after, right? I mean, if you have silver bullet, I'm happy to catch it.
I wish I had a silver bullet. And there, I think the reality is engagement is probably the hardest thing to do in an online community, right? Like you build it, they don't come. You have to build tactics to drive. So one of the tactics could be consistent emails that continue to remind your users to get onto the community. Another tactic could be a webinar program that creates a place for them to engage and interact with maybe the experts, and things like that. So I think that, as you look at things that AI can help, one, it's some of the things I've already said, using the things, that used to take me a week to do, now takes me, you know, uh, minutes to do or an hour to do, or, like using ChatGPT for my topics for webinars or descriptions or cutting the video or all those very tactical things that you do as a community leader or you have people do. AI is solving that problem today. And so it's already doing that. And so those are the engagement things like building a webinar program, building, those kinds of things or blogs and things like that, that really help with engagement is helping me as a community manager to do that. When I think of back end type stuff that help the user, it's a good question. Like, it could be, I think of it more of giving them tools like, chatbots and things like that, that might be able to help them get an answer quickly. But I also think that, that human interaction and I think programs that you have to do to engage people, they still want that. So there's that drive for connection and real life stuff that AI will never solve. But I think to me, it's about using the tools that are there for me as a community leader to make my job easier or to make my team's job easier to do. so that the customers can have a delightful experience. I don't know if that answers the question, but
that definitely, yeah, scratches the surface, okay? Because
yeah,
what you're talking about, of course, it's a teaser, okay, to much deeper conversation. Absolutely, I want to encourage everyone to follow Chris on LinkedIn. I'm a big fan, okay, of the work that you do, and that's how we met, actually, okay. So these digital
yeah,
interactions, right,
that's right.
becoming mainstream now, right? Absolutely, and this is fantastic, right? In terms of operational successes, okay, this is less sexy topic, all right, it's less shiny, and that's where the meat is, and that's where advantage is. So what kind of metrics you think make sense
Yeah.
when you're measuring your own success, your team success, your organization success?
Yeah, it's a good question. What I always say is, from building online communities, the metrics that you want to use is looking at your business outcomes. So if you're not producing a business outcome, then why are you doing it? So I'll give you an example. If I'm saying like, all right, we want to help support with their support cases. So, the beauty about community is that you can build engagement types of things, rewards, recognitions, and those kinds of things, and help people, get excited about answering a question, And so I think that, like if it's case deflection, we want to deflect X number of cases because X number of cases help me save millions of dollars. Or if it's, hey, look, our goal is adoption and or upsell or cross sell for community from a business standpoint. You have to get to those high level goals and do all these tactical things to get to those high level goals without trying to. So if I'm looking at a cross sell, we have a new feature that comes out on the product. We want to talk about that new feature. We don't necessarily, hey, go buy this thing. It's more of, hey, this new feature does this, that, and the other. We have a product person and ask questions as you will, and then if they ask, was this a cost? Yeah, it's a cost, but get with your account manager or AE or whatever. But the point is like you get to those metrics and you say then community is helping guide $30 million in influence pipeline, then you're hitting the dollars. That's what I've done in some past companies and to the company that I am today. You have to get to that level. When you first build one, fair enough, just get people in, start engaging, interacting, but have that thinking in mind as you kind of build that roadmap out. So I think you know uh, lower level metrics you'll want to keep up with that a lot of people won't care about because they just don't care. But when I think of who's engaging, sometimes that's important. How many people are engaging, what are they asking about, and those kinds of things. You got to keep those metrics available. Which companies aren't on the community and how do we get them on the community. So driving more people to your community, but the right people from different accounts and having them do different things. And so, there's a lot of value in a lot of different areas, but I would say, pick one and then go to the next over time, because you can't do everything at one time. Hopefully that helps.
That's helpful. That's absolutely helpful. You mentioned AI in general, right? And yet content creation and lots of features that you mentioned, right? This is about Gen AI in a lot of
Yep.
ways, right? All this image creation,
Yep.
videos, text to, speech to image and whatever
Yep.
the variety, right, of the use cases that's multiplying every day. All right. So have you used the Gen AI for strategies, something higher level than just, I don't know, asset content production?
You're starting. So I've used Gen AI for a lot of different, basic things like we just mentioned, blogs and creating titles and using transcripts from my own podcast to write blogs or things like that, or even to come up with a nice LinkedIn post and things. So we do use that. But as I kind of start looking at companies that are embedding AI and ML kind of thinking. So the last company I was at, one of the core things that they would do is it's called matching and merging. I won't go into the great details about how that, but basically a data steward had to set up these match rules, to say a lot of different things, and it would literally take weeks because they'd had millions and millions of records. Now they can do it within hours, right? Because of AI and ML. So it matches up to 90 something percent. The data steward still has to do some stuff, but it saves them weeks and longer of time to now do those. So you're starting to see AI and ML solve problems that are real, that are saving people time, like weeks and months of time of doing things. And so you are starting to see these real life kind of ways of how AI is embedding into the product, because it's like I said before, we're going to start embedding these in the product, and it won't be just Gen AI. It'd be AI kind of working in the back end that you won't even know that's helping solve problems, and I would just tell companies, look, if you don't have an AI strategy, you better get one as soon as possible because you're going to be left behind because that's just the way it is. I mean, you're not for the most part, you're not going to be able to make it, So
an amount of, again, new tools, new possibilities, I don't know, multiplying every day, we all feel overwhelmed. So how to really stay sane in the business where you seem to be, right, you're not catching up quick enough? What's your
yeah.
advice?
Look, I mean, just take it one day at a time. Like we still are humans. Just go get a coffee or go outside for a walk, and learn as much as you can and do what you can. But we're shifting. Right now it seems crazy, amazing, and somewhat stressful at times about all the things going on with AI. But look, we can't sweat over it. It's changing, and that's just the way it is. And let's just live with it and change with it and do the best we can. I mean that's the advice. I mean, go for a run or bike ride or do a yoga class. I don't know. Just get out and exercise. It helps. I don't know if
Always,
that's good
always,
advice or not, but that's what I do.
always. Beautiful, beautiful. So, you know what? Don't you want to talk about the vision of the future, meaning, right?
Mm.
I'm not asking you predict the future because it's not an easy task, but really, what would excite you? Okay, what kind of the next step you see that will help in your role, that will help all B2B community builders in a way that how to, I guess, simplify, right? Because we're still dealing with patchy business and tools landscape, I think.
Yeah, I think that AI is going to help in the future, and it's doing some of that today. But uh, you know, it's going to help us to do our jobs easier. And I say that because community builders and leaders have to think of content strategy. We have to think of engagement tactics and strategy. We have to build relationships with different stakeholders within the business, right? There's just a lot going on. And a lot of times our teams it could be one to many. Maybe we have 2 or 3 people on our teams, but that's it. And we're doing a lot of stuff. And my hope is that some of these community vendors that and some of this thinking around the self-help piece, it becomes a little bit easier. Like it's easier to attach, easier to think about single sign-on, think about how to surface up relevant content to users, personalize. When you think of data, how do you kind of look at the analytics and it just can give me a summary of what's actually happening with these 5,000 accounts or users in a like nice summary and things like that. I just think that it's everything is going to, we don't know. That's the beauty is, I can make some stuff up, and the reality is I just don't know. But my hope is that it just helps me do my job a little bit easier and help me to connect to people in a lot easier way, because I sure do go through a lot of tactical things, to spend lots of hours doing a lot of things that I feel like AI should be able to help with, while I could start building and continue to build relationships with real life people. You know.
I love having technology driven conversations that quickly come to people element because frankly, technology doesn't work with people. I'm firmly believing in this statement, right?
Well,
So
think about this. When you think of communities, when you go out to like an event that are full of people just like you that do similar things that you do, that's what communities are. Do you think I'm going to go in and talk to a robot and you think that robot's going to have, no, an AI robot is not going to do that. So the reality is that, you know, although AI will change the way people work and do things, just like a lot of things have done in the past, think about the internet when it first came out, I don't know, 30 years ago or whatever it was. It changed the way we worked 1000%, right? But, that's the way I see AI doing, is changing the way we work, but not engaging with real life people. It just doesn't do that. Yes, jobs will change and you'll think of something different, but I'm not scared of that. I mean, we shouldn't be. you know?
Good. You know, what kind of message should we send out to those who just starting their careers? Because it can be overwhelming, okay, when you're trying to catch so many balls up in the air. So what's the message out there?
I think the beauty about a 20-year-old person, you know, going through college or whatever, they're going to figure it out because they actually have an advantage. They're already using it. They're already doing it. So they're going to know nothing different, you know, by the time they're 30 years old, you know, 10 years. So the beauty is that they don't know what they don't know, and they haven't seen what we've seen. Same thing's going to happen when they hit 50 years old or whatever, right? They're going to be like, oh my gosh, you know, everything's changed, you know, in a lot of different ways. And so, you know, the advice is, look, you'll be just fine. You know, just continue to learn and engage and things like that, you know. But they are, I mean, think about it. When we were young and a kid just going through it, we were all scared about, oh my gosh, what am I going to do in my life? You know, you'll be fine. Like, you know, just I always tell people, if you work hard and you learn, you know, that's the key, is just being a go-getter, you know, being a hustler, you know, and then some of that works out for itself. You become, you know, smarter at a certain thing. You then become an expert, and then those kinds of things. Sometimes it takes you a little longer than others, but I mean, AI changes everything, but it doesn't change anything for them because they're already using it and doing it. And that's how they'll kind of progress, you know?
Fantastic. Chris, thank you so very much for sharing the insights and really practical tips from your own career, your own life. Beautiful. You know, in conclusion, could you please share a few takeaways, meaning that we did talk about wonderful promise of AI, right? How it helps to simplify our day, our job, how much more productive we are, right? And at the same time, the challenge still is, right? You still want to engage people. So it's not a magic, right? So maybe a few takeaways, to remember this conversation by.
Yeah, one is, look, you know, AI is going to change the world. You know, it's going to change technology and the way we work and the things that we do. We don't know all of the things that I mean, we couldn't imagine what the internet did back in the day. We can imagine then what social did, you know, to us. Now we can engage with people all over the world. You know, we used to not could do that. Look what we're doing today. We're actually speaking, you know, I don't know where you live. You don't know where I live. It doesn't matter where you live, you know, but so it will change the world. But, you know, the reality is that we'll just have to change with it. It's not going to change the people aspect of it. You know, it changes jobs, it changes those things, but you know, we'll just have to learn something different, or you know, progress into something, you know, to make our jobs even, you know, more worth what they're doing. So the people aspect never goes away, but you know, some of the things that we do, like these repetitive tasks, are going away. Look at blog writers. You know, you think, you know, people used to write blogs and spend, you know, $2,000 on a blog just to get an amazing blog written. I'm not saying that those creative people aren't needed, but you know, I could do a pretty good blog within, you know, 5 minutes and then have somebody clean it up and edit it. So it's already changed things. So we got to kind of, you know, progress with the technology and the way it is. So I mean, that's it. I mean, things are changing and will change 100%, you know.
Beautiful. Sounds promising, sounds exciting. And we wish everybody find their way, right? Finding their own absolutely unique path. And technology is there to help us. Chris, thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you.